Okay, let's be honest, we've all been there, right? You sit down for a nice dinner, you see that whole lineup of forks, and suddenly, panic sets in. It can feel like a total minefield. So, what's the deal with modern etiquette? What actually matters? Well, we're going to get into it, and we'll be leaning on the amazing insights from professional etiquette expert Adrienne Barker.
So this really gets to the heart of it, a question Adrienne Barker herself poses. Think about it. Where you sit, what you order, all these tiny little decisions. Do they really matter? Do they say something fundamental about who you are, or is there something else, something deeper going on? That's exactly what we're going to unpack.
You know, at the core of this whole debate, you've basically got two competing schools of thought. Two totally different ideas about what good manners are even for. It's this classic clash, really. Tradition versus a more, let's say, human-focused way of looking at things.
So on one side, you've got the traditionalists. For them, etiquette is all about the rules, right? It's a system for showing respect and, maintaining a little control in formal situations. But then you have the modernists, and they'd say, hang on, true etiquette is way simpler. It's just about making people feel comfortable and connected. So let's see how these two very different views clash in the real world.
So where do we even start with this debate? Well, it begins right at the table. In fact, one simple everyday object can pretty much set the tone for the entire meal. And believe me, it's our first big point of conflict.
Yep, you guessed it. The napkin. It seems so simple, right? But believe it or not, this one little thing becomes a huge symbol for this entire philosophical split. Is it just a thing to wipe your mouth with, or is it a secret code for something much bigger?
And this right here, this perfectly sums up the traditionalist view. When you see a cloth napkin, it's not just a napkin, it's a signal. It's like the restaurant is telling you, hey, this is an occasion. And what do? You sit up a little straighter, your phone magically disappears, and you switch into a more formal gear. Basically, the setting tells you exactly how to act.
But then, the modernist pipes up with a pretty strong counterargument. Isn't that just snobbery? They'd say that getting hung up on the fabric of the napkin completely misses the whole point. You can have an amazing meal and even better conversation anywhere, right? The focus should always be on the people, not the fancy placemats.
Okay, let's raise the stakes a bit. Let's say you're the one hosting. Suddenly, you're in the driver's seat. And every little decision you make, from where people sit to how you handle the ordering, well, it's sending a message, whether you mean for it to or not.
First up, seating. Where do you, the host, plant yourself? The traditionalist playbook says you take the power seat, the one with the best view of the whole room. It's a subtle power move that says, I'm in charge here. But the modernist, they'd probably just laugh and say you're way overthinking it. Who cares where you sit? Just focus on having a real conversation, because that's the only thing people are actually going to remember.
All right, everyone's sitting down. Now comes that moment. You know the one? That slightly awkward dance of ordering the food, especially when you're the one paying. So, how do you navigate that?
And this table just lays out the tension perfectly. You've got two main approaches. The traditionalist way is pretty strategic. You might say something to subtly guide your guest choices, which helps manage the bill and keeps things on a professional track. The modernist approach, though, is all about pure generosity. The thinking is, hey, if you invited them, you let them order whatever they want. The responsibility was on you to pick a place you could actually afford in the first place.
And this really gets us to a core idea, especially for the modernists. The ultimate goal here isn't just to check off a list of rules. It's about making the people you're with feel genuinely seen, comfortable, and respected.
I mean, this is really where the rubber meets the road. It doesn't matter if someone is vegan or just wants to order tap water instead of the fancy bottled stuff. The whole point is to create a space where they feel totally fine making that choice, without any fear of being judged.
And interestingly, this is one area where both camps can pretty much agree. Making a simple, polite request with confidence, that's always good etiquette. There should be absolutely zero shame in asking for tap water or checking on a vegetarian option. As long as you're confident and polite, you can navigate these moments with total grace, no matter which philosophy you lean towards. Okay, so we've looked at everything from napkins to who gets the best seat. So where does that leave us? What's the real point of all this etiquette stuff today? Well, Adrienne Barker suggests something really interesting. Maybe the answer isn't about picking team traditionalist or team modernist. Maybe it's about changing our focus completely. And that big shift in focus really comes down to one single powerful word: presence. Look, it's not about stressing over which fork is for the salad. It's about being genuinely present with the people at your table.
That means putting the phone away, really listening, and actually trying to connect. That, more than anything, is the ultimate sign of respect.
And that, right there, is the biggest takeaway from all of this. So the next time you feel that little knot of anxiety at the dinner table, just remember this simple but powerful idea from Adrian Barker. Don't worry about being perfect, just focus on being present. It's a simple rule that will never, ever steer you wrong, no matter what kind of napkin is on the table.